if I hired you as a consultant, I'm a bad guy, okay? And I want to take down World Trade Center. I hire you, and I say, listen, Richard, here's $1 million. I want you to be my project manager.
I think it'd be 10 million.
So I'll give you $10 million. Tell me how many people we need, okay? How long it'll take us to prepare this, to bring the World Trade Center down.
You'd need dozens of operatives. You'd need access to the core columns in the in the buildings. It would take months.
It would take months.
Interestingly, we had a elevator modernization, the largest in the world ever, going on the 9 months prior to 9/11. Who had that contract? Ace Elevator. Who should have had it? Otis Elevator, who installed these elevators and maintained them up until the time Ace Elevator had 85 employees in the building at the time the towers were hit, and they fled. It was a scandal documented in USA Today. And these are the experts who could help rescue the firefighters.
Yeah.
So that's a plausible undercover operation.
That's a good point. So the elevator that's been managing it for a while was, what was it called?
Ace.
Not before Ace.
Otis.
Otis. Okay. So Ace takes it over. 85 guys 9 months prior to that are working on the elevator. Perfect. So now that's not all. You had the transfer from public authority, the Port Authority, to private company, Larry Silverstein, just 6 weeks prior to 9/11. This deal went through, and he invested only $125 million of his own money, leveraged that to $3.2 billion, and bought all the rest of the buildings. He had previously developed Building 7. But he placed massive terrorist insurance that had never been placed on these buildings before. And when did he buy the terrorist insurance?
After he secured ownership of these six other buildings.
This is 6
just
weeks.
6 weeks prior to 9/11.
Okay, so now you're talking. This is the kind of stuff now gets people thinking. Okay, so 6 weeks prior, a guy comes in with $125 million of his own money, leverages up to $3 billion, buys terrorist insurance, you said?
Yep. And he had no reason to buy these buildings. They were half empty, according to many researchers. So they weren't desirable. They required $5 billion to $10 billion in upgraded electrical, mechanical, and communications systems.
He bought which buildings?
And they were full of asbestos.
Which buildings did he buy?
Well, he bought the 6 buildings.
WTC complex.
WTC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's right.
He bought that. And other people who enjoy conspiracies talk about Neil Bush and the insurance connection. But let's set that aside. Let me ask you...
Tom, you can't say that without people not knowing what you're saying.
Yeah.
Neil Bush and the insurance. Can you unpack that 20 seconds?
Well, there are people that say that there was a massive, massive insurance payout that was here.
That's something people are...
And it goes right to this...
$5.68 billion is
correct.
What he ended up with.
And it goes to this. Exactly the point he's making here. It has been...
Perfect. So $5.68 billion. Can you find out which insurance companies pay that? Do you know who it is or no?
No, not offhand. But
Swiss Re.
Swiss Re pays out $5.68 billion.
That's a reinsurance company. That's not an insurance company, correct? That's the reinsurer.
They're changing money like mad in this scheme. Yeah.
Because no company is going to take on that much risk, right, Pat? I mean, you're in the...
No, that's not what I'm saying, though. That's not what I'm saying. Listen, one of my clients bought a $250,000 insurance policy, okay? But he died within the 2 years in contestability clause.
Yeah.
The insurance company spent nearly $25,000 hiring investigators, okay? Mm-hmm. They investigated this thing and realized it's suicide. Guess what? They never paid out the $250,000. Insurance companies don't just pay out $5.68 billion without hiring the best investigators to prevent them from paying that money. Mm-hmm. These guys' job is to hire to prove that, nope, this doesn't... So accidental insurance is the most waste of money insurance you'll ever buy because insurance companies can always make the argument. So for somebody to pay $5.68 billion Swiss Re,
you'd have to have that coming out of another pocket. And the 9/11 Commission even identified as true the put options where millions were made on betting that the airliners and other corporations inside the towers would go down in value dramatically the next day. And they said, this is true, but it wasn't insider trading because it didn't lead to the footsteps of Osama bin Laden or Al-Qaeda. Where did it lead? It led right to the Deutsche Bank, Allen Dulles.
I want you to finish your thought. You had a question for him.
So let's stay at the root of the tree that we're on right now. So Silverstein buys the WTC complex, $125 million, levers it up. Not unusual in commercial real estate, but certainly unusual, basically on the size of this. And then he goes and gets the terrorist insurance. Do you have that?
Yeah, I have something close to it.
The WTC leaseholder buy terrorism insurance just before night.
This is by a fact checker. Just note that up at the top.
Can you zoom out so I can read it?
This
Tyler,
is Snopes fact check.
Yeah, just make it. That's fine. Make it zoom in a little bit. I'm sorry, the other way. Zoom in a little bit. Okay. So, long-standing urban legend hold that World Trade Center leaseholder Larry Livingston took out terrorism insurance just months before 9/11 attacks. Okay, go a little lower so we can read the rest. World Trade Center mixture. Okay, so the fact that they say mixture, that by itself, by Snopes, is a little disturbing. Okay, go a little lower. Go a little lower. Some of the most persistent contemporary legends about 9/11 attacks involve people supposedly benefiting foreknowledge of event, whether it's a group World Trade Center workers or fortuitously called in sick and escaped certain deaths that day, or investors who fortuitously bought put options on United American Airlines stock immediately before the attacks, thus profiting when the prices of the stock fell. Afterwards, American businessman Levinson famously signed a 99-year lease on the World Trade Center complex in June of 2001, 2 months before the attacks. Okay, this is disturbing. So let me.
By the way, there's the insurance underwriting. Remember, the underwriters are called in on the claims.
Exactly.
Too,
That's
right?
the
underwriters underwrite the policy, but then the underwriters with muscle are called in on the big claims.
So there it is. Silverstein took out an insurance policy that
fortuitously
covered terrorism. After 9/11, Silverstein took the insurance company to court, claiming
who didn't want to pay.
He should be paid double because there were 2 attacks. He won.
There it is.
While the story obviously contains elements of fact, it's also partly fiction, most notably the implication made via the use of scare quotes around the world. Okay, that part, you don't have credibility with that one because that's just a meme that does. Well, keep going.
While you have Larry Silverstein's face up there, note that he was on PBS, America Rebuilds program, saying that regarding Building 7's collapse, he says, well, there's been such terrible loss of life. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it. And so they pulled the building and we watched, and so...
No, they have that recording. Multiple people have that recording off of all the fire radios.
They gave the order, and the building came down. Yeah, pull it. So he said, I didn't mean pull the building. I meant pull the firemen out of the building. Well, guess what? The firemen were told not to go into that building and fight that fire. They were told it was going to come down on its own. So they were held back along with news reporters and people, first responders like Kevin McPadden, who says, like a train running under my feet. The explosions going on before Building 7 came down.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.